present this research
Can you keep
called
your video a little bit up? We cannot see you completely.
now?
Yes, yes, it's nice.
Yeah, now better?
Yes, it's better.
Thank you, thank you. So I'm going to present my research called How should the early childhood teacher professional development be attending to improve motor development of their students? Development strategies based on the findings. So in this research, I'm going to relate motor development and the importance of early childhood education to promote this motor development. Focus the attention on teachers, on early childhood teachers. So I'm going to move on. First of all, I'm going to explain the literature review. Then I'm going to move on to the objective of this research. Then I'm going to explain some details of the methodology. And finally, I'm going to show you the results and the strategies that are the most appropriate to increase motor development in this stage. And then I'm going to present the general conclusion and future lines of research that take into account the main findings of this research. So I'm gonna start with the literature review. As you know, fundamental motor skills are building blocks that we need to lead to complex movement. We need these fundamental motor skills to develop different sports, okay? Fundamental motor skills are divided into locomotor and object control skills. As also we know the benefits of these fundamental motor skills, we need them to practice physical activity, but also these fundamental motor skills also promote social, emotional, and cognitive development. So we had to promote these motor skills to avoid motor delays because we know the benefits of these motor skills. At this point, we had to continue with the factors that influence motor development. There are two different factors. We find internal factors such as age, sex, or maturity, and then we find environmental determinants. For instance, the professional development, the contents, the early childhood education. Now I'm going to focus the attention on early childhood education. Sorry. There are different environments that influence this motor development, but one of them is this early years, the early childhood education. But in this point, I had to mention the role of the teacher. Why? Because they are responsible for implementing this physical education in this stage. The early childhood education is the appropriate contents to give our students the opportunity to increase fundamental motor skills. So early childhood schools are environments that play a critical role in promoting the development of preschoolers' fundamental motor skills. As I said, teachers are responsible for carrying out the gross motor skills activities in this stage. So, what are the factors that are involved in the adequate teaching of motor skills? Well, I found different factors. They are, first of all, initial training and continuous professional development and the years of teaching experience. Also, we have personal resources, equipment and spaces, and finally, motivation and perception regarding the teaching of motor skills. So the objective based on this literature review is to analyze the impact of these factors, the impact of early childhood teachers' professional development in physical education to design strategies which will have a significant impact on their students' motor development. Now I'm going to present the methodology to analyze the impact of professional development on motor development of their students. Well, with respect to participants, we had 60 teachers and there are 300 students. Okay, so we selected these students taking into account the teachers. The first 5 students were selected according to the surname of the students. Okay, and with respect to students, the subboard was composed of children that are enrolled in early childhood education. With continuing with the instruments, we made use of 2 different instruments. The first one to evaluate professional development of early childhood teachers in relation to physical education. This questionnaire is composed of 24 items that are divided into 7 variables, into 7 dimensions. They are the first one, training and professional development, that is related to initial and continuous training. Personal perspective, the motivation of teachers to implement physical education. Contextual perspective, the perception of families to continue working physical education. Social recognition, the recognition that teachers receive when implementing physical education in early childhood education. External perception of physical education, material, personal and material resources and spaces to promote physical education. Internal perception, the opinion of teachers about physical education, the importance that they give to physical education, and finally, formative value of physical education, the way that physical education improves motor, emotional, cognitive, and social development. With respect to the instruments to evaluate motor skills, we made use of the test of gross motor development. This test is composed of 12 motor skills across 2 scales. We have locomotor and object control. Each skill possesses range from 6 to 10 points depending on the number of critical elements. Each skill has a set of 3 to 5 performance criteria. If we see the performance of the criteria, we mark with 1. If we don't see the performance of the criteria, it's 0. And I'm going to continue with the procedure of this research. First of all, teachers had to complete the questionnaire to then assess fundamental motor skills by choosing the first 5 students of each teacher, taking into account the student's name. And with respect to data analysis, we perform non-parametric tests by using SPSS version number 25. Now I'm going to continue with the results of this research. Well, starting with the years of teaching experience, those teachers which have more years of teaching experience, their students show higher object control development. However, those teachers who have more years of teaching experience, their students show less level in locomotor development. Maybe because one of the explanations is that the teachers need more training to work locomotor development. Now I'm going to continue with the variables of professional development. As you can see, we're going to start with training and professional development, the first variable that is correlated to locomotor object control, but also the whole motor development. So we can say that the initial and continuous training is an important factor to promote motor development. But also, we can also see that personal perception, the motivation of teachers is also correlated to motor development. So we need to increase teachers' motivation to improve motor development in early childhood education. And also we can observe the relationship between the materials, the personal and materials and spaces to promote motor development. And finally, we can see an association between the contents, the importance that families give to physical education, to locomotor development. So we had to attend to 3 different aspects to promote motor development. As we can see, motor development is associated with the training, motivation, and resources. So based on these results, we need to improve initial and continuous programs in relation to motor skills. The teachers need more knowledge about physical education to promote motor skills properly. As well, they need more resources to implement physical education adequately. They need more resources, but also we need to attend to teachers' motivation. How can we do that? Maybe we can attend to the initial and continuous training, but also we had to give them the materials to implement physical education. But also we need to involve families to the promotion of motor skills. Families should be aware of the importance of physical education in early years. So, as you can see, there are 3 main aspects that we need to attend to increase motor development in early childhood education. But because I said in literature review, it's quite important the promotion of motor development because it influences social, emotional, and cognitive development. And that's all. Well, we need, based on this research, to attend early childhood teachers taking into account academic and governmental institutions, but also another future lines of research would be to see the influence of continuous training on motor development. And we need to analyze if there are improvements in preschoolers' motor development. So we need to focus our attention on initial but also continuous programs to see if they improve or not motor development of their students. And I think that I'm going to conclude now. So thank you for your attention. That's all.